All right, let's dive into something that I know keeps a lot of local business owners up at night. You've got these two businesses, right? One becomes this local legend, everyone knows their name. The other, just as good, maybe even better, but they're practically invisible. Why is that? Well, this playbook we're looking at today, it breaks it all down.
And this right here, this is the question that really hits home, isn't it? I mean, you know you're great at what you do. Your customers tell you all the time. But then you realize that just a couple of streets over, nobody knows your name. It's this incredibly frustrating gap that just stops fantastic businesses dead in their tracks.
So let's get one thing straight right off the bat. The problem is not your service. It's not your skill. It's something else entirely. It's your positioning. It's all about how you show up or don't show up in the minds of the people in your community. And that's the end game, right? To become what this playbook calls a neighborhood authority. This isn't about being just another listing on Yelp or Google. No way. This is about being the name, the one that pops into someone's head instantly, the one they recommend to a neighbor without even thinking. You become the automatic, the only choice. Okay, so that sounds great, but how do you actually get there? Well, before we build, we got to clear the rubble. We need to look at what's not working. And the playbook points to three really big, fatal mistakes that most businesses are making right now. All right, mistake number one. This one's a biggie. You're renting attention instead of owning it. Think about it. When you run a Facebook ad or a Google ad, you're basically just paying rent for a tiny little spot in someone's feed for a split second. The moment you stop paying that rent, poofs, you're gone. And when you look at it side by side, the difference is just, it's night and day. Renting is this endless money pit. You pay every single month, and you're just seen as an annoying interruption. But owning your position, that's an investment. It builds on itself. It compounds. You're not an ad anymore. You're a trusted part of the community. And if you have to pause your spending for a month, you're still top of mind. That's a game changer. And that leads us right into mistake number two. You're out there competing on visibility, not on trust. See, when everyone's just shouting with the same digital ads, you all start to look and sound the same. You become a commodity. And you know what happens then, right? Customers can't tell who's better, so they default to the only thing they can compare, price. Suddenly, you're in a race to the bottom. And trust me, that's a race you do not want to win. And this is so important, especially if you're trying to attract premium clients. They're not looking for the loudest, flashiest ad. They're looking for the name they recognize, the one they feel like they already know. It's all about familiarity. That's how you build trust before you've even had a conversation. Okay, mistake number three, and this one is subtle but deadly. You're measuring the wrong ROI. It's so easy to get obsessed with things like cost per lead or click-through rate. Why? Because they're easy to see on a dashboard. They give you that little dopamine hit. But are those numbers actually building a sustainable business, or are they just vanity metrics? Look at this comparison. On one side, you have the traditional stuff, clicks, impressions, leads. That's just measuring activity. It's temporary. But on the other side, you've got authority metrics. Now we're talking. What percentage of your neighborhood actually knows who you are? Are you getting referrals from people who've never even been your customer? Now that's measuring real, lasting equity. That's the stuff that builds empires. All right, so we've torn it all down. We've seen the mistakes. Now let's start building. It's time to talk about the solution. And it starts with a fundamental shift in how you think about your business, moving from the mindset of an advertiser to the mindset of an authority. Let's make this real. Imagine two businesses. Business A is on that digital ad treadmill. You know the one. They're burning through $3,500 a month, their close rate is terrible, and they're always haggling on price. Then you've got Business B. They're investing less money, about $1,800 a month, but they're investing it in positioning. Their close rate is through the roof, they command premium prices, and leads just keep coming in from word of mouth. What's the difference? It's not their work, it's their authority. Okay, so you're sold. You want to be Business B. But how? What are the actual steps? Well, this is where the playbook gives us the how. It's a three-part system they call the Neighborhood Authority Engine. Let's get into the mechanics of it. So this isn't just three random ideas. They all work together like gears in a machine. Step one is the trust builder. This is your foundation, something physical and tangible, like being featured in a high-quality community magazine. Step two is the amplifier. This is where you take that trust and blast it out digitally, so it feels like you're everywhere. And step three is the closer. This is all about managing your reputation online, so when people do check you out, they see nothing but 5-star proof that you're the real deal. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Print? Really? In this day and age? Well, just look at this chart. It's absolutely insane. A community magazine that people actually want gets nearly 90% readership. People read it. It sits on their coffee table. Compare that to a Facebook ad where you're lucky to get a 1% click rate. The level of engagement isn't even in the same universe. It's a massive, massive difference. And look, this isn't a magic button. It's a process. It compounds. The first few months, people start to recognize your name. Oh yeah, I think I've seen them around. Then that turns into familiarity. Wow, I see them everywhere. From there, it becomes preference. They seem really legit and established. And then, after about a year, you hit the peak. You achieve authority. You're not just an option, you are the expert. So, what's the ultimate result of all this? The playbook has a great term for it, the return on identity. We're not just talking about ROI in the traditional sense. This goes way deeper. It's about carving out a permanent, respected, and valuable spot for your business right in the heart of your community. Here's the big shift. You stop hunting for one-off customers. Instead, you start building a genuine asset. What you're creating here is what I like to call mental real estate. You are literally owning a piece of property in the mind of every single person in your market. And that is an asset that's more valuable than almost anything else. And that mental real estate, it pays off big time. We're talking about a very real, very tangible financial impact. According to the playbook's projections, we're looking at a potential $378,000 in additional revenue in 1 year. That right there is the power of turning trust into cash flow. But honestly, the money is only part of the story. The real value, the stuff you can't put on a spreadsheet, is what this does for you, the owner. Imagine not having to desperately chase every lead, being able to confidently charge what you're worth, turning away work because you're booked solid, and building a business that's actually worth a ton of money when you're ready to sell. That's not just a job anymore. That's a legacy. And this quote just says it all, doesn't it? This isn't marketing, it's your legacy. It completely reframes the entire goal. We're moving beyond just getting leads for next Tuesday. We are talking about building something permanent, something that becomes woven into the very fabric of the place you live and work. So that brings us to the final, unavoidable question. Look, someone in your neighborhood is going to become the authority. It's going to happen. Someone will be that name that everyone knows and trusts above all others. So the only real choice you have to make is, will it be you? Or will you be the one competing against them for the scraps? The choice is yours.